Welcome to JC Stocks and Markets podcast for May 20th, 2023. I'm JC. I've been investing in the stock market for 40 plus years. I've made good trades and investments and some that are not so good. My intentions with these podcasts are to share my unique thoughts and opinions on individual stock and ETF picks with an emphasis on dividend-paying securities, which are my favorites. The idea is to share my thoughts and possibly give you, the listener, some investment ideas so you and I can maybe make some money. I'm not doing this for income, nor am I trying to earn any advertising revenue from anyone. I just enjoy doing this. I hope to share some chances to make a little money along with you. During some shows, we may stray into other topics or news that affect the stocks or ETFs that we are discussing. That could include commentary on government politics and Federal Reserve policies, current events, or just quick thoughts that rattle around in my melon. The opinions shared in these podcasts are my own, and they are just that, opinions. I invest in many stocks and ETFs that are featured in the podcast, not the one today, but I might. And I'll try to let you know if I have or will establish a position in these securities. Disclaimer, and this one is important today because this is very speculative. By all means, everybody has to do their due diligence prior to investing any money into anything. These stock picks are no exception. Do your own due diligence. With that, let's go make some money. Medical Properties Trust. This is a MPW, is the ticker symbol. Very speculative. I do not own a position in MPW, but I'll be looking at it and you'll see later in the podcast why. I'll show why. It's very speculative. They're having problems getting rents from two of their biggest clients, but this company is all in healthcare, and if you think healthcare is going to maintain and get, let's say, continue on growing with the aging population, this might be an out there speculative play for you. I would put, I'll tell you what I'm going to do or possibly do later. Anyway, they're one of the biggest healthcare REITs in the world. They've got 444 facilities and over 44,000 licensed beds in their properties. They're worldwide, although they are divesting their Australian operations. And anyway, this is a big company, but they are seeing some financial issues right now. But the payout is big. If you're looking at a spec play, we'll talk about how we play this, or how I'm thinking about playing this. Next slide is from Yahoo Finance. Actually, the first one was too. This slide is from Yahoo Finance, the basics on Medical Properties Trust. It's a $4.5 billion company. The beta they show, and that's why I show the arrow, it's 0.99, or pretty close to following the market. I actually think that's a lot higher, especially now with the financial issues they're having. I don't know that that's accurate, but as you can see, the forward yield is 15.7%, which is real enticing. But you're taking on a lot of risk here. Earnings per share are less than half of the forward yield payout. I usually don't go for that, but this is in healthcare, and healthcare is one thing you might want to look at. But do your diligence, for crying out loud, please. Medical Properties Trust, as you can see, this is an article from the Motley Fool, recent article. The annualized yield, like I said before, is 15.7%, and that's annualized. Citadel Holdings has held this company, or it shares of this stock, for 15 years, and they just purchased 2.8 million shares of the company, probably because it's fallen from about 20 till just below 8. Based on some of the issues, but they look at it as maybe an investable possibility here. The other thing I've underlined in this article, which is Medical Properties Trust has run into problems collecting rent from its two largest tenants. That's issue. If you think that this recession will be short-lived and healthcare will be, especially hospitals, will be growing. You're going to have to do your own due diligence again, but you might want to look at it. This might be a high flyer with a lot of beta and possibly some good alpha, as well as collecting 15.7% on the way. Here's my rationale for possibly putting a small position on MPW, Medical Properties Trust. As you can see, it's bounced off about the 7.25 line in terms of share price. It's done that twice. I'm looking at it as it's pretty oversold. And if it goes back down to that 7.25 and bounces back off that, I think it's on its way up. That's the way I am looking at playing it, and I'm not looking at putting a large position on this. I don't want to take on that risk with my capital, and I don't think I would recommend that to anybody who has capital that they really need. But if you have speculative money that you're looking at using just as a spec play, you may want to consider this. Again, do your diligence. This is a kind of a risky play, but you can make some money if it turns out right. Again, 15.7% payout on an annual basis for dividends, and a chance for some really significant alpha is it's enticing. But again, you have to assess your risk reward, especially your risk. What can you really afford to lose capital wise, and maybe keep tight stops on it. That would be a good way to go too. Anyway, Medical Properties Trust, MPW, spec play, big payout right now, lots of risk. Pay attention, do your due diligence, and I hope you can make some good investments. With that, I'd like to say thank you for listening. It's been JC Stocks and Markets Podcast. I really appreciate it. I'm just trying to help people make some money if possible. The song in the intro outro is a song that I wrote, and the band Just One Goat recorded it some time ago. It's called She's the One, has significant meaning for me, and I hope you have some happy investments, happy Memorial Day if I don't put a podcast out before then, and good luck to all. Thank you for listening, and hope to see you again.
A love ain't purely physical, but I never have to roam. Well, she's always there for me. It's simple, can't you see? She's the one. Oh, she's the one. Everything is magical, even when she's not around. No, it's not that radical, I just know what I have found. Well, she's always there for me. It's simple, can't you see? She's the one. Oh, she's the one. She's making my life so much stronger. God, let me stay just a little bit longer. She's the one.